All right, everyone, set 3 is almost upon us, and these are my top 5 cards that I think are going to do well in set 3. All right, so the past couple days have been pretty wild with spoilers. If you could take a look, we got Chancellor Palpatine, Quinlan Vos. Now there are 2 of them. Enfys Nest. Captain Rex has been insane. Clone Coder Cody Commandy. Isla Secura, General Grievous, all really, really good cards. Synchronized Strike, lots of cool stuff. Token generators, all the color bases have been spoiled. You know, we're about a month out to the day of me recording this on October 1st. And I did this last set where I found my top 5 cards for set to purchase for set 2. And some of those were right, some of those were off, but they were really based off of the price of cards. And today I want to go over what I think are going to be the best cards for set 3. So starting out here, I think right away, Kira has shown to be a very strong card. Kira was not played early on in set 2 for the most part because I don't think people knew how good she actually was. And the meta was like more experimental. People were playing existing decks. But the more I play Kira, and the more other people play Kira, she has been shown to be very, very strong. Hand Disruption is always going to be good in a game like Star Wars Unlimited. And what's good about her is Spark of Rebellion is a card that can take 1 card out of your hand. But Kira can take out, potentially prevent you from playing multiple cards. There have been many times where I've played Kira and I've named Power of the Dark Side because they had 2 Power of the Dark Side in hand. She's also a solid body, a 3/5. She'll almost always be meta relevant because she can name any card. If there are more cards that come out, she can name them. Showing, I think that what my hypothesis is that she's going to show a lot of strength in the end of the meta for the PQ season of Season 0. I think we're going to see a lot of top 8 decks that are playing Kiras and that are Cunning Heroism. They're going to be playing them all kinds. And I just think she's too good to not play right now. She's almost an auto-include 2 of in any Cunning Heroism deck. And I think that's going to be true going into set 3. So taking a look at her price here, she's a 62-cent card. I don't know what the hyperspace or hyperfoils are, but I do have my hyperfoils of this card already. But this card is very, very cheap. If you don't already have some, or if you haven't cracked a bunch of packs of the set, I know this set was more accessible than Spark of Rebellion. But this set being a lot cheaper is really nice. But, you know, picking a playset of this for $1.50 is insane. If you don't have a playset, just buy them on TCG Player. The next card here is Supreme Leader Snoke. It's probably the pricier card on this list. Kills all of the new tokens, whether they're battle droids or they're clone troopers. It's going to kill them unless they have some sort of buff. Supreme Leader Snoke does have the Force trait, which is very relevant in this set because there are some cards that synergize with official and Force trait, and potentially gets cheated out with some new cards. That new card being, now there are 2 of them. I think a yellow-blue control deck is very scary right now, because if they just have their leader out or they just have one official sentinel out there, they can play this and cheat out Snoke, kill your whole board in the process, and have a very relevant threat. I think that this card could surprisingly be played in like soft control, because a lot of times soft control only has 1 unit out and they're spending all their turns killing stuff. But now there are 2 of them, can get around that by being able to cheat out units way early. And that's really what happens with soft control, is they get raced out by faster decks before they hit their top end. And this can kind of help them catch up. I also think now there are 2 of them is good in a lot of decks, but it's surprisingly good with cards like Snoke. And I don't think that's even been talked about or explored yet. And I also named him Smoke, Supreme Leader Smoke, Puff. Oh my goodness, that's a typo. So yeah, I think it's still pricey at $16, unfortunately, for the median market price. But I do think if you can trade into these and you play these colors, or you're looking to play these colors in the next set, it's possible this card gets quite strong in the next set due to the relevance of the -2/-2, specifically nullifying tokens and token strategies and weenie strategies, and as well as additional ways to cheat it out. Next is Mystic Reflection. This card is not seeing any play right now in a meta deck, but I think it's a very flexible card, and I was surprised that I'm not a blue player, but I was surprised not to see it played. I never thought it was great because there's a lot of like 3/5s and things like that. But with the high density of force units, this could be stronger and more consistent in the next set. And it could be a card that you like squeeze in so you can double play, right? On 4 resources, you play this plus a 3-drop. That is very relevant, especially if you have force online. And it's good against tokens and introduces favorable trades. I think that if you can't play this to kill something, it's really good to play on a leader to make the leader really weak and then finish it off. And it only costs 1, so it's a very flexible card. It just didn't have a home yet, and I think it's very possible that this could have a home. The reason why it's on the list, it's a whopping 28-cent rare, very flexible. Surprisingly, I don't even have a playset of this card in my own collection. I think I have 1 or 2 copies. So I think getting this is going to be quite smart for the next set. And then lastly here, you saw him peeking in. It's not lastly. One of the last ones is Admiral Ackbar from set 1. I went back and looked at all of set 1, and I've actually been building some decks right now with Quailen Voss, green Quailen Voss ECL. Seems very good. I've been testing it just for a day, but it seems theoretically very strong. Of course, we don't know if it's actually good, but Ackbar has got to have a home with tokens being a reality, getting a lot of free tokens. He can sometimes slam down and hit for 3, 4, 5 damage, depending on your leader, hitting an additional damage on some units. Has synergies with some of the new leaders, and I think it's sort of a forgotten about card right now, but it could be very relevant. It's great with U-Wing reinforcement decks, and I think U-Wing might have a comeback this set. I have an inkling that the U-Wing decks might actually come back. Unfortunately, that card is not, it's cheap, but it's not like super cheap. I know that card was played heavily in the end of set 1 meta. It was kind of the deck to beat. Was Han Green, was a very strong deck. So I think Ackbar definitely is going to come back, I think, with that kind of effect. There's not really anything like it right now that's on... There is a card called Synchronized Strike, which is basically Admiral Ackbar, but on an event. But honestly, why would you not just get a 1/4 and pay 1 more out of it? I think that Ackbar is quite strong. And, you know, Ackbar is surprisingly a little pricey, almost $2 at about a $1.75 here for a rare. Some people can't get Spark packs right now, and if you don't have a playset of this card or you got into the game after set 1, I wouldn't, again, I can't give financial advice. This is not financial advice at all, but it's just what I'm thinking. It's my thoughts. I think Admiral Ackbar is a great buy right now for myself personally. If someone were to ask me, I'd say, hey, not a bad idea, because it is a forgotten about card, and I think it will have more play in set 3. The last card here is a card that I actually did not rate super high at the beginning of set 2. It was Hotshot Blaster. I thought this card's okay. It's kind of okay, but I didn't realize how good having a smuggle pump effect, action cheat pump effect, how good that was in this game. It closes games out. It can blow your opponents out of the water. It can, you could have no cards in hand and you could still win the game kind of situation. And I want to point this out. This is probably one of the best cards to buy from set 2 right now, in my opinion. It's been an all-star of set 2. It's in the Boba yellow decks. It's in the Han yellow decks. It's in the Sabine yellow decks. It's in Lando yellow decks. And it's in Kylo yellow decks. It's in every single, like, top 8 placing cash prize deck. It's been playing at least 2 to 3 Hotshot Blasters. The fact that Boba is playing this and Han are playing this out of aspect is also very telling. This card's very good. They're playing it in a deck that can't even play it for 1, and it's still strong. I think Hotshot Blaster will see at least a 1 to 3 of in most decks that can play it in next set. I think also it was confirmed that Smuggle is not coming back next set, so that makes this card even better because it's very unlikely, if not confirmed already by FFG, that we won't be getting a card like this in set 3. It's the only card in the game that does what it does, really, by cheating an action and adding pump. It's very good, and it's good for competitive play. Kind of pricey right now, will most likely go up in set 3 because we're not going to see... I think people are going to be buying less. There's going to be less of it in circulation. And I think that at a $2 to $3 card, it's a great card to buy into. And like I said, it's in every deck that can play it, that's meta relevant. It's playing it. And I think that is... We're not going to get a card like it. I think this... If I were to recommend if I were to go out and buy a playset of a card, it would be Kira and Hotshot Blaster. I think both of those cards right now are just always going to be good, and they're not really seeing a bunch of play. or excuse me, they're that's not what I meant to say. They are seeing a bunch of play, and we're probably not going to get effects like them with the rest of set 3. And about half of set 3 has been spoiled by the release of this video. So those are my 5 cards here: Kira, Snoke, Hotshot Blaster, Mystic Reflection, and Akbar. I think all of those cards are very, they're possible to be really good in the next set and find homes in new decks, which is very exciting that some of these cards that may not have been played could come out of your binders and see play, or you could purchase them. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think are the top cards to buy from set 1 or set 2 that you think are steals right now. Post them in the comments. I'll interact with you all. I also want to mention 70% of y'all are not subscribed. Love you very much. But I would really appreciate if you would subscribe if you want to see more content from me on Star Wars Unlimited, competitive content, card analysis, interviews, even stuff like this, like, you know, MTG Finance, but SWU Finance, SWU Finance. Oh boy. But, you know, by the way, all these recommendations, none of these are like making money recommendations. These are for players, right? If you play the game, I'm trying to help you out by giving recommendations that I think are potentially steals for you right now. It's like getting something on sale, right? Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. I did want to kind of share, I did start a Patreon. I've been trying to promote it and share. It is a competitive Discord, and right now would be a really good time to join as we begin testing new decks for set 3. We've kind of hit a critical mass right now where we have enough cards from set 3 to actually begin creating and architecting some sketches of what some of the new leaders could look like, or some of the old leaders with new cards. And it's been really fun. We've been doing live deck buildings. When leaders are pulled, we'll just hop on Discord and we'll do voice chat. If you're new to Discord, I'd be happy to do, if you join the Patreon, I'd be happy to do a walkthrough on how to use it. I'm open, and so the link will be down below for my Patreon. What will be in there is deck guides, a community, conversations, deck lists, play lines. I did a town hall recently, so there's a lot of value in there right now, and it's going to continue to grow. And happy to have you join the rebellion. Thanks.